Good morning. I'm Dorothy Lane, and I'm the director at the Wilkes University Small Business Development Center, and I would like to welcome everyone to our program this morning, which is Cybersecurity, Protecting Your Business and Your Clients. As everyone has read in the newspapers and has seen on the news, cybersecurity is a huge issue, not only in our country but around the world. And one of the things that businesses really need to think about is how to protect all of their information from cyber attacks, so that they can continue to move forward with their business and not have any issues for themselves or for their clients. Before we get into the actual presentation today, I just want to take a few moments and tell you a little bit about the Small Business Development Centers. The Wilkes University Small Business Development Center is one of 18 centers located throughout the state of Pennsylvania. We're funded by the federal government through the SBA and also through the state government through the Department of Community and Economic Development in Pennsylvania. And we're also funded by Wilkes University, who is our host institution. All 18 centers are located on college or university campuses, and we do that very purposely because a lot of the businesses that we work with do require a lot of research, and by being on a college campus, we do have access to many of those resources. All of our services are completely free and are confidential. So we hope that a number of people take advantage of these services. It's not just for startup businesses, but we also work with existing businesses as well. So we encourage you to touch base with us if you think there might be something we can help you with. We cover just about every topic area from soup to nuts. And if we can't answer your questions, we have many economic development partners who probably can help you and assist you with any issues you may be having. Our center at Wilkes University, our main office is on the campus of Wilkes University, as I had mentioned, but we do cover a 5-county area. We cover Carbon, Columbia, Luzerne, Schuylkill, and Sullivan counties. So if you're unable to get to Wilkes-Barre to meet with any of our consultants go out to those counties on a regular basis, at least once a month, to meet with individuals who might be seeking some sort of business assistance. So if you do need our services, please either jump onto our webpage at www.wilkes.edu/SBDC, or you can call our office at 570-408-4340. I think that's about it for today, but I'm going to hand the program over to Ken Anderson, who is with, I'm going to say it wrong, Ethixa. I got it, with Ethixa, and he is going to give us all of the ins and outs about cybersecurity. And one thing that I should note, we got involved with this because we have found that anyone who is interested in doing any sort of government contracting really has to meet certain parameters with the National Institute of Standards, the NIST standards and technology. So we want to make sure that any of our clients who are either already working with government contracts or who anticipate working with government contracts have the checklist accomplished of what they need to do to be able to get some of those contracts. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Ken.
All right, thank you, Dorothy. How is everybody today? Good. It's a good morning this morning. Looking forward to speaking to everybody about cybersecurity. And if anybody watches the news, I'm sure they're aware that cybersecurity is a hot button issue, and it's becoming more and more important. You see on the news all the time, this person's hacked, this company's hacked, personal information is being stolen, and it's a major concern. And it's not just for large businesses, but just about every company manages some type of personal information that needs to be secured. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. This is going to be an overview. We're not going to get into the nitty-gritty details of exactly what implementations you should do or which software packages you should use, but this will give you an overview of what things look like, and a little bit about myself. Before we get started, we'll do the introduction. As Dorothy said, my name is Ken Anderson. I am the Director of Managed Services for Ethixa Solutions. Ethixa is a full-service IT provider specializing in proactive IT support and managed services. So security is a big part of what we take care of. It's for any IT provider, it's a very important issue, and that's why I'll be speaking to you about this today. And I have been in IT forever. Feels that way for more than the past 25 years, and it's in my blood, I suppose, and I really like it. So if at any point you have questions, I know the people on the live stream are able to ask questions. Is that correct? They can type in questions. So if anybody has a question, feel free to let me know, and I'm more than happy to make this as interactive as possible and answer any questions along the way. So let's take a look at our agenda. We've got the introductions taken care of. The first thing we're going to take a look at is the security landscape. We're going to look at what the threats are, where they come from, and you might be surprised at what those threats really are. And we're going to be talking about not just computer and information security, but data security, which covers a wide range of things. From that, we're going to go to risk analysis. How do we take those risks that we've identified and analyze them and quantify them so that we know what risks are more important to take care of and which ones are less important? Then we're going to take a look at each of the different components of improving the cybersecurity within your organization. Now that we know what these risks are and we know which ones are important and which ones aren't as important, what do we do about it? And then we're going to take a look at a couple things from NIST. We'll look at the Cybersecurity Framework 1.1 that they've developed and have offered to help you manage these security concerns. And as Dorothy mentioned, the compliance issues. If you're working with a government agency, you are required to conform with this standard NIST 800-171. So we're going to do a brief look through on that and see what that means for you and for your business. Any questions before we move on? Okay. What are the modern cybersecurity threats in the world today? We have hackers. Everybody's aware of hackers. They're in the movies, they're in the news, and you know, they all look like this guy, I'm sure, with the balaclava on, and they're easy to detect. Now, hackers are a concern, and you need to secure your network to protect from them. But in addition to that, we've got viruses, we've got malware and ransomware, and viruses, malware, and ransomware are usually closely linked. And we have the issue of what if our systems are lost or stolen, or the data is lost or stolen from a system. System failures, while that's not necessarily a security issue, it is a data issue. If a system fails, you lose your data. That is a big problem and can be as big a problem as if somebody steals your data. Less common in smaller companies, but you may see this on the news, is DDoS. That stands for Dedicated Denial of Service attacks, and that's where somebody basically, usually a network of bots is used to attack a company's network and shut the network down. So we're just going to touch on that briefly. And then something that most companies don't even think about enough, if at all, is their own employees and the risk that their own employees have for the company as far as data security and the internal network. And we're going to talk about what that means and the requirements and things that should be done to handle that. Let's look at our key causes for data loss, because like I said, this isn't just about stolen data, this is about losing data. And you'd be surprised the things that cause data loss the most often. Natural disasters. We see these, we see hurricanes, floods, tornadoes. You lose your building, that's going to cause you to lose data. Only 1% of data is lost through these types of events. We also have viruses, malware, and hackers, and we see that in the news all the time. It gets big headlines when a big company is hacked and data is lost. That's only 2%. Now, programs don't always function the way they're supposed to. Things happen. Software corruption, program malfunctions, we get another 7%. Human error, those employees we were talking about just a minute ago. Human error causes 11% of data loss. Hardware or system malfunctions, the other 78%. So if you're really concerned about protecting your company and protecting your data, that is a key statistic to remember. It's not just about locking everything down, it's about protecting your data as well. So here's some facts. As far as small businesses go, this annual report in the Disaster Recovery Preparedness Council found that nearly 3 out of 4 companies surveyed failed to adequately prepare. Out of these businesses lost one or more of their mission-critical applications. They lost application files, critical files. They experienced days of data center downtime. And 20% of these companies that they surveyed had between $50,000 and $5 million in downtime losses. These are some hard numbers that if you're running a business, you would be wise to take a look at. 30% of all businesses that have a major fire go out of business within a year. 70% fail within 5 years. 60% of companies that lose their data, this isn't even a fire, there's all kinds of different things that can cause you to lose data. 60% of companies that lose data will shut down within 6 months of that loss. And companies that aren't able to resume operations within 10 days of some kind of a catastrophe are not likely to survive. So that's key, because when we talk about security and data integrity, we're not just talking about getting the data back, we're talking about getting it back within a certain time.